received an email informing them not to report to work Friday. Instead, they would be on a mandatory remote workday, and they were required to attend an operational meeting at a designated time. But when workers attended those meetings, they received devastating news.
It was a mass firing of everybody that was on the call.
The news felt like a punch in the gut.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Parts Talk. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate each and every one of you. Now, Stellantis has joined the convoy of layoffs, following closely behind Ford, GM, and numerous other EV startups that had their workers disenfranchised. Layoffs at Stellantis only highlight a common trend in the automotive industry where automakers resort to downsizing operations as a major cost-cutting measure. This move is common and has significant implications for the industry, affecting not only the affected employees, but automakers who do it to innovate and remain competitive in the market. In this episode, I will try to dissect why Stellantis joined the layoff convoy and give reasons why automakers continue to run into these predictive strategies, and also why you should never get comfortable when employed in the automotive sector. But before we do, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button so you'll be notified when I drop a new episode. Now, let's thank Fox 2 Detroit for this feature. Let's get into it.
After being employed at Stellantis for over a decade, this mechanical engineer recently started believing his job was on shaky ground.
I was concerned because I heard rumors a couple weeks ago regarding cuts to salaried employees.
Around 8 p.m. Thursday, 400 technology workers at Stellantis, including this engineer who wants to remain anonymous, received an email informing them not to report to work Friday. Instead, they would be on a mandatory remote workday, and they were required to attend an operational meeting at a designated time. But when workers attended those meetings, they received devastating news.
It was a mass firing of everybody that was on the call.
The news felt like a punch in the gut.
Of course it was. Yes, absolutely.
Fox 2 requested an on-camera interview with Stellantis, but instead we were provided a statement which reads in part, "While we understand this is difficult news, these actions will better align resources while preserving the critical skills needed to protect our competitive advantage as we remain laser focused on implementing our EV product offensive and our Dare Forward 2030 strategic plan."
Let me pause right there, because we're seeing this very often. As the technology changes, so does everything else. So now we're seeing people being let go via Zoom meeting, online meeting, much more. It's much more safer, as a matter of fact, for these hiring and recruiting managers, much more so than doing the exit interviews. Now, one key factor driving such layoffs is the need for automakers to reduce expenses amidst the economic challenges and the market uncertainties. And by downsizing operations, the companies aim to streamline their workforce and allocate resources more efficiently. That's the political way of saying this. However, this often comes at the cost of sacrificing skilled personnel and potentially hindering the future product development and innovation, so to speak. So automakers may opt to reconsolidate their operations and shift labor to developing countries where production costs are much lower. And this is why even China is able to push so much more cheaper EVs into the market. Let's continue.
But this worker and others Fox 2 spoke to believe something else is the cause.
There's a ton of jobs or positions that they began to outsource to different companies, such as India, Mexico, Brazil. So they continue to push low-cost countries are more efficient for the company and more profitable.
As hundreds of employees are let go from Stellantis, many are wondering what impact this will have on the auto industry.
The auto industry is making a lot of money, but is facing a lot of challenges. You've got the electrification situation, which is going to cost car makers a lot of money.
No, it's not. They're not making a lot of money. Not like before. BYD is kicking butts right now, and this allows companies to take advantage of cheaper labor and favorable economic conditions in those regions. Ford, GM, and Stellantis are eyeing Mexico as the union is seen as an obstacle to economies of scale, and it raises concerns about the job security and the quality of manufacturing processes, particularly in regions with less stringent labor and environmental regulation. Let's not forget the government's EV mandate, adding another layer of complexity to the situation. As governments worldwide push for the transition of electric vehicles, automakers are under pressure to invest heavily in EV development and production. And this shift in focus will lead directly to restructuring efforts within the company, including layoffs and reassignments to align with the changing of the market. Let's continue.
Got the new UAW contract that's also costing car makers a lot of money. So it's not only Stellantis, everybody is looking at the bottom line.
In fact, WWJ automotive reporter Jeff Gilbert says other car makers have already made cuts recently.
We've seen it at Ford and General Motors also, but today it's happening at Stellantis.
Gilbert makes it clear the actions by Stellantis are not reflective of the economy.
There is no talk about a downturn in the economy. This is about all of the other costs related to things like electrification, things like new technology.
There is a downturn in the economy. We're currently going through a recession. People don't have disposable income. And the recent workers' union strikes underscore the tensions between labor and management within the automotive industry. The livable wages are no longer a thing right now in North America because these strikes often evolve around issues such as the wages, working conditions, and job security, highlighting the challenges faced by employees in an ever-evolving industrial landscape. Disposable income by cars. The layoffs at Stellantis only reflect the broader trends within the automotive industry, including the need for cost-cutting measures, reconsolidation of the operations, and adapting to government mandates and labor disputes. We're seeing that happening right now. I think he needs to do a lot more reading.
These reductions will be effective March 31st, and it will offer support for those impacted, including a comprehensive separation package and transition assistance.
It's sort of sad because just years ago during the bankruptcy time, our government stuck up for us and bailed us out so that we could continue to be a company. And years later, we merged with another company that just seems to be sort of dissolving us.
In Oak Park, Ingrid Kelly, Fox 2 News.
Moving forward, it will be essential for automakers to strike a balance between financial stability, innovation, and employee welfare to thrive in an increasingly competitive market. But this is never the case. Once there's a boom, there will be a lull, and anytime the government gets involved, things go awry. They refuse to allow things to work themselves out. The automotive sector, whether at a dealership, a manufacturing plant, or garage, don't ever get comfortable. It's a revolving door. Get the experience and get out. If the management doesn't screw you, well, some of them, the government policies will. And depending on the party in power, no one looks at what the outcome will be when implementing a decision that has bounds of stats, research, data, and history to predict the outcome. He never actually get the memo on that. The EV push will require less labor, not more. As usual, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to grab a copy of my ebook, The Parts Manager Guide. Please smash that like button on your way out. It will only take you 1.5 seconds to do so. Until next time.